Hey guys, Pokeversity here, and this is my Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire speculation video. Now, ever since these games have been announced, the timeline has been in a little bit of question among some of the more die-hard fan circles. So I'm going to throw a couple of proposed theories out there, and I don't really know what the correct answer is, so let's just get started. Toshinobu Masumiya, sorry for butchering your name, guy, is a screenwriter over at Game Freak. He tweeted this out. I know it's not the same as an official one, but basically what he confirms is that Red and Blue happened at the same time as Ruby Sapphire, Gold and Silver happened at the same time as Diamond Pearl Platinum, Black and White is next, then Black and White 2 happens at the same time as X and Y. Pretty straightforward, but let's talk about it. So this is what we knew before this tweet. And so we put Fire Red and Leaf Green with Ruby and Sapphire because they can interact. That's pretty much the only reason why we did this. Then Gold and Silver are obvious, they follow on. And Diamond, Pearl and Platinum, you see a Lake of Rage broadcast at the start of the game. That confirms that this is happening at the same time. You also encounter a Team Rocket grunt that goes back to his own country in Cerulean City in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. You can then encounter him in Black and White. And obviously Black and White 2 happens directly after this. Now, after this, it gets a little bit more difficult to find out. But I have a few pieces of evidence that place X and Y at least happening after Black and White, if not happening at the same time as Black and White 2. So the first piece of evidence, right here, this places it after the events of Red, Blue, Yellow, Fire Red, Leaf Green. Because what we're seeing here is an NPC that will directly refer to Professor Oak's grandson. He came abroad in Kalos to study, and he said bonjour, and he left always and said smell you later. So we know that this has happened already. The next thing is this, and this is the most important piece of evidence. Talks about Dr. Fennell's experiments creating the game sync. So this has already happened at the point of X and Y. This places it at a similar point to Black and White 2. And this final one isn't really a evidence, but more the fact that we know that Sinnoh has happened at this point as well, because Professor Sycamore trained with Professor Rowan when he was younger. So what does this actually mean for the timeline? It means a couple of things for the timeline, but the most important thing is that X and Y definitively happens after Black and White. Whether it happens at exactly the same time as Black and White 2, that is debatable because there's not a lot of evidence to support this. However, if Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire are really direct remakes, maybe that should replace Ruby and Sapphire in the timeline. Because we can't move X and Y because we know that that happens after Black and White. So maybe we need to reposition Ruby and Sapphire in the timeline and put them after X and Y, or at the same time as X and Y. Now this does contradict the tweet, but as I said before, this isn't an official Game Freak tweet, so we don't definitively know that this is true, but it's pretty close to being true, so for now that's the best that we've got to work with. When more is known about this game, I can update this timeline, and maybe I'll do a follow-up video, and maybe at some point I'll do a real timeline video with the actual in-game evidence of why these games happen there. But this is just me presenting the evidence that X and Y does indeed happen after Black and White, saying that Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, if they can directly trade with X and Y, should be placed at the same point. And that is my opinion on where Ruby and Sapphire sit in the timeline now. That's my opinion of where X and Y sits in the timeline right now. If you guys have conflicting evidence, feel free to share it down in the comments. So guys, I've been Pokeversity. Thank you very much for watching this video. Stay tuned for more Pokemon. And as always, guys, click that thumbs up button if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys next time.